Every time our friends at GPTS reach out, we get really excited. Not only are we personally passionate about their mission and vision, but their commitment to excellence and everything they do is just really exciting to be a part of. We've done quite a few film projects with GPTS over the years, but this one, they wanted to take a different approach a little bit and do something that was more narrative, almost like a short film. The goal of the film was really to showcase the journey that somebody who might feel that call to the ministry, what journey they would take to then become an actual pastor and have a ministry of their own. In a lot of ways, the story is simple. We already know what that process looks like. The problem is, how do you condense that 5-year journey into 2 to 3 minutes? We ended up landing on following the story of a single seminarian to kind of represent a lot of people's stories of what it was like for them going through seminary. We didn't want to sugarcoat it, but to show kind of the ups and the downs of going through seminary and the hard work that is, and then to also show the payoff of actually, being ordained as a pastor to then launch into a lifelong ministry. When it came to the visual style of the film, we really wanted to create something that felt a little bit more movie-like rather than just a promotional film. With so much media and materials out there for different competing seminaries and other colleges, we really wanted to create something that would stand out and really help set them at a tier above, as well as really connected the audience to that character's story. We spent a ton of time shot listing and storyboarding, and then putting all of that into an animatic, which is basically text to music, to help us plan out exactly what shots we would need. The other thing that was really important was to maintain proper continuity throughout the story, being 5 years of time. So for instance, the kids are a good example where they start out with a baby, and then kind of towards the middle of the film, they have a toddler and another baby, and then the end where you have a toddler and then that first kid is now, 5 or 6 years old. With every project, we always try to have a prep day ahead of shooting. This really helps just our whole team to kind of gel, camera department to set up, all the different departments to kind of meet and figure out what needs to happen, as well as to go location scouting. So one of the things that we were able to do is actually hit up a lot of the key locations and film kind of just quick and dirty versions of the scenes. And that allowed me and Jaden to both talk through the scenes along with Calder to figure out how we wanted to block the scenes, how we wanted to light them, and that really made a huge difference, being able to work more quickly on location. There's so many stories that we could cover on the production of this film, but I just want to cover a few highlights. With all our projects, we usually try to start out with the simplest scenes first. And so we started filming at GPTS, the seminary first, since we'd filmed at that location many times in the past. The seminary was such a huge and important part to the story, but the challenge was how to make studying and being in a class and sitting in a classroom not just be boring visually. One of the most challenging locations for the film was the apartment scenes. For the sake of the story, we wanted it to be something that felt small, as they're moving from a larger house into a small apartment. It fit the story, but also made it very difficult for filming, since there's not as much room to put cameras and lights and really move around. Not only did we have a lot of scenes that happened at that location, but we also had a lot of them happening at night. We couldn't shoot it all actually during the night because of just the way the schedule worked. So we ended up blacking out all of the windows and making it feel like night to be able to shoot all day. One of our favorite scenes to film was the ordination scene. Micah, our producer, had found this beautiful church location not too far from the seminary, and it really was just the quintessential small church, and it was perfect for the visuals that we were looking for. One of the biggest challenges with that scene was finding extras, because we needed to have the church not feel too empty, as it's an ordination for their pastor. So we ended up having just enough people and then strategically positioning them to where it didn't feel as empty as it might have. Here at BIC, we're huge fans of haze and film. Just really adds so much atmosphere and depth, and so this was no exception. We hazed the whole church. We added some lights outside the windows to augment the sunlight that was coming in, and using a jib and some other equipment, we really were able to capture some really fun imagery that I feel like really kind of helped build out that almost like angelic kind of atmosphere. All in all, even though we had a really ambitious shooting schedule, we managed to capture everything we needed to make the completed film. There were definitely some lessons learned and mistakes made along the way, but thanks to the wonderful folks at GPTS for all of their hard work, and then our team and all the hard work and time and blood, sweat, and tears that they put into it, we were able to create something that I think was special.
Perfect. Cool.
That was great. Okay. Yay. Well, that's a wrap, folks.
Yay!
Yay! Post-production is where all those puzzle pieces you've been working on for months all come together into one final product. The editing for this film was a unique challenge. Because it's more narrative format, every scene really had a lot more weight, and the timing and the connection of those scenes mattered way more than even your regular promotional film. Another key aspect to making this film successful was the music. So we were excited to bring on a composer to create a custom score for this film. Ryan Moore, our composer on this project, did an excellent job of distilling all of our ideas and thoughts into something that really captured the heart of the film, as well as matched the brand for GPTS. When it came to color, we do our best when shooting to make everything match as much as we can, but there's always going to be a lot of variations. And so John Clay Burnett came on board to be our colorist, and he really worked with us to create kind of the visual and look and feel of the film, and to make it look all consistent and one cohesive vision. Another thing that people often overlook is the sound design. So Oscar Curell came on board with us as our sound designer, and he really took the film to the next level by bringing in the little sound details and mixing the narration and all of that together so that it kind of built out that world of the film. GPTS had a really specific idea of what they were looking for when it came to the narration and voiceover for the film. We auditioned a bunch of different options, and we ended up landing on Robert Ricotta, and he was able to really bring a weatheredness to the voice that created that sense of an older man admonishing a younger man and kind of sharing from his heart.
Do not say that you can pursue an adequate course of study without the expense of many sacrifices. The service of God daily calls for labor and sacrifice.
Visual effects is another aspect that often gets overlooked. When it's done well, you just probably don't ever even see it. Some of the things that included was sky replacements for some skies that weren't very interesting. We had several scenes that changed seasons, and so we needed to remove Christmas decorations. We also had one scene where we needed kind of an additional establishing shot of the church, and so we kind of built a shot out of an outtake to kind of create that establishing shot for that church. After many months of work and many man hours on this project, it was really fun to see it get launched as a part of the GPTS brand relaunch. They got a ton of really awesome feedback, both from ministry partners and others kind of in that ministry space, as well as potential candidates and things. It was an incredible honor to work with GPTS on this project. We definitely learned a lot of new things working on something a little bit more narrative and short film-esque, and we're excited to see how God can use it going into the future.
What's the matter? What's the matter?
Don't you know?